it's hard to have this conversation, man, because I already know how it sounds. Like, I know how it sounds. If I say what I want to say, people are just, not you guys, but a lot of people are going to think you're coping, it's fanboy. Sony will show you. You'll wait. Just wait and see. Sony does have a showcase planned for September. And the reason why they have a showcase planned for September is because they're going to show the PS5 Pro. There's no chance Sony can show anywhere near as many first-party games as what Microsoft showed. That's just the truth. The most you could maybe hope for, I would say, and this is the absolute most, is like 5 to 6 first-party showings. That's not 17. However, think about what these first-party showings could be. Just think about it. I'm just saying, just think about it and just consider it. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility, and it's something worth considering.
I am exhausted after all that work I put into editing together that amazing compilation, which, if you haven't seen, you should definitely go check out. Nobody would subscribe.
Skill issue.
You begin to wonder what's the point in making masterpieces if all people want is a dude sitting in front of a camera with a $40 microphone. So I said, what the hell? I may as well give everybody my opinions on the Xbox showcase and cover the salt with my own voice, rather than masking it with a bunch of memes that nobody really cares about. Leave it to Microsoft to once again basically fill in the huge empty gap that E3 left behind when it officially closed down. Since then, it's kind of hard to deny the fact that Microsoft has continuously been saving E3 season for the past, almost 3 years now. Anytime anybody is looking forward to anything, anytime the most amount of games are shown, it's because of the Xbox Games Showcase. With Microsoft quickly becoming the biggest publisher, however, that's to be expected. And well, with being the biggest publisher, you would expect them to waste your goddamn time with terrible live musical performances, stupid skits that transition from one trailer to the next trailer, shitty TV and movie ads. But surprisingly, Microsoft did, well, none of that. They didn't waste your goddamn time. They showed you a bunch of games, and that is all people have ever asked for. There was no filler here. And I think that's why the majority of people are happy, to be honest. On top of all the content Microsoft showed, what mattered most was that it was all entirely focused on video games, which is something not the majority of game showcases can actually brag about. At most of these events, they hardly have enough games to show people, which is why those pointless filler segments even exist. Instead of being one giant product placement, it was instead very informative and let people know what the roadmap looks like, what games they can expect, and where to get them. After all that talk about quote-unquote rumors of Microsoft pulling back from Game Pass, it looks like they quadrupled down here. At least 90% of what was shown was coming to Game Pass day one. There is a lot of content there. Overall, the show did what it was supposed to do. And that is why people have changed tune a bit to Microsoft. It's not really about the exclusivity people care about. People just care about games. What do you have to show us, trillion-dollar company? Well, I'll tell you what we gotta show you. Doom, a new Gears, Perfect Dark, Stalker 2, Fable, Avowed. We're talking about a showcase where if it was just those titles and it was 30 minutes long, it would have already been better than everything else. But I mean, there was a lot of very DEI and ESG friendly games I have zero interest in, but I expect that with a lot of these showcases. In general, there's just something for everyone here. And I think that's what matters the most. If you're a PlayStation user, if you're an Xbox user, a PC user, pretty sure Nintendo will be more included if the Switch 2 comes out, then there's something for you to look forward to. And the best part is it's not held down by a specific console. Why people continue to point to that as if it's a bad thing is beyond me. Because right now, Microsoft is putting food on the table for a lot of content creators. You will have plenty to talk about and boost your little analytics and subscriber count. Because when people talk about PlayStation, the viewership is dead in the water, and there's a reason for that. Games. Microsoft has games. Yeah, that was something that was once taboo to say. But now we can objectively say Microsoft has games. And even though that was basically the most requested thing the entire gaming community has been asking of Microsoft, after years of being trashed for not putting out content like PlayStation, there's still those who completely reject it, like this person who works for IGN. My boys at Darge Night and at Skeptic Sauce suiting up after Xbox destroyed PlayStation at Xbox Showcase 2024.
He's a monster.
It is at this point Michael T on Twitter decides to tweet back, "Made this make sense," with a gif saying and living rent-free.
Okay, now let me start to tell y'all all about taxes.
Now, why would an IGN employee be triggered over a post that was 100% facts? Interesting, isn't it? The only way any single person could be triggered by such a factual statement is if they were a pony. Now, he works for IGN, so obviously, when you factor in the Xbox tax, this man is definitely a pony. I mean, why else would he be upset? It's just a proven fact. The Xbox Showcase was better than State of Mid. You can't argue it. I'm sorry, you can try your hardest, but the only people who will agree with you are, well, other fanboys, and half of them don't agree with you. The ironic part is his knee-jerk reaction is actually proof all of these Xbox dudes posting this actually live rent-free in his head. And it must be hard as an IGN employee to face the fact that PlayStation did not put out. The days of The Last of Us 1 being the greatest thing since the invention of penicillin is long over. It's also kind of scary how much these IGN employees know of YouTubers like Gaz, which would mean this IGN employee heavily focuses on console wars because check this out.
Michael T continues the conversation saying, "Once again, no self-awareness, guys. Joined Microsoft event funded by them to show off new games from Xbox Studios. Then spends all his time, energy on PlayStation rather than the games and studios quality shown off, convincing no one, at least of all self, of being over his ex."
Quit smiling, you idiot. You're supposed to be a professional.
Now I know what you're all thinking. Fritz, is this IGN employee on the spectrum? Possibly. But that does not absolve him. You simply have to remember a lot of these gaming journalist sites hire people, well, like this.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people. And maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. Yeah! And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
So yeah, no, it's not hard to imagine IGN would hire a console fanboy. I mean, if you haven't paid attention to most of their articles, it's really no secret. Say what you want, but a lot of these sites are clearly making Microsoft fill out 1099 forms or something that Xbox tax has been in full effect for quite some time. So seeing it in the form of console fanboyism is hilarious. As a PC user, I'm sitting back here thinking to myself, yeah, well, even though Colt Eastwood is cringe, what he said isn't a lie, and the last person I expected to reply to it would be an IGN employee, but whatever. I guess they're tired of hiding it. Much like apparently a former CEO of PlayStation is also tired of hiding it.
As you can see here, former CEO of PlayStation, Sean Layden, decided to participate in console warring. When console fanboy Hunter at NextGen Player posted, Phil Spencer calls PlayStation slimy for paying publishers for exclusive content. I want to give you the choice on how you play your games and who you play with, and not try to do slimy platform things to force you to do what I want you to do. To which Sean Layden responded with this gif. Sean Layden then went on to like several console fanboy tweets, all focusing on criticizing Phil Spencer for allowing other gamers to play Xbox titles.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
All right, Sean. Just admit it. You're jealous Phil Spencer made the acquisitions the company you worked your whole life for couldn't. I'm not saying Phil Spencer is the best CEO in the world, but in a world of CEOs, accomplishments, career highs are far different than what your average consumer would expect. Sean cannot say he made the biggest acquisition in history. Sean also can't proudly say, hey everybody, you can play our games, because Sean worked for a company who couldn't do either of those things. Clearly, Phil Spencer's use of the word slimy triggered this man and got him real salty, because why would you go around liking console fanboy posts? It's a very bad look, Sean. It makes you look petty, even though you don't work for Sony anymore. As a matter of fact, you work for someone far worse. Tencent, you goddamn hypocrite. On top of that, the context here is Phil Spencer was talking about Call of Duty, and what Phil Spencer said isn't wrong. It would have been very slimy if he didn't allow all other console users to play COD. Why would he deny one of the most popular games on the planet to millions of supporting fans? Sean Layden is simply salty and very spiteful of Phil Spencer. There's no other way around it. Once a pony, always a pony, even if you don't work for Sony. Well, that's very reductionist, Frit. You know, for all you know, he could be speaking from the heart and truly mean it. Well, if he means it, he won't work for Tencent. So shut the fuck up. Be a good little CEO and sit in the back quietly with your rainbow flag and blue, white, and pink flag in your bio. If you're a CEO for $1 billion corporation in general, you got blood on your hands. Figuratively. None of you are better than the other, and none of you can really one-up each other. Of all the people to see rolling and playing in the mud, I didn't expect a former CEO to PlayStation to be one of the ones doing it. It's so bizarre, it's so out of character, but also a clear sign of the times changing. For as much as the internet has claimed for years that they want Microsoft to compete, they want Microsoft to have games, the results speak for themselves. The media doesn't actually want that, and neither do the console fanboys. You just never really expect some of those console fanboys to be former CEOs and IGN employees. It's honestly really pathetic, like really fucking pathetic. Unfortunately for him, he should have waited at least 24 more hours when Elon Musk updated Twitter so no one could see your likes and they were privated. Had he waited just a little longer, we wouldn't have caught him. But the cat's out of the bag. The root of the problem is pretty well known now. PlayStation themselves have the most toxic of fanboys, well, because the people who work for Sony have a very similar mentality, clearly. When the former CEO is following and liking tweets from the Red Dragon, you know they're down this rabbit hole. I mean, it would make a little more sense if he still worked for Sony, but he doesn't, so I don't understand the loyalty. I wish I had that same loyalty from viewers like you, but none of you want to fucking subscribe, even though you like the videos. Stop punishing me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. No. See, that's the mistake. I say if you so choose to. It's mandatory now. If you don't like, comment, share, and subscribe, then I'll convince the coalition to make Gear 6 instead of that prequel. Yeah, scared you with that one, huh? All right, do what you gotta do, and I'll see you in the next video.
Free Congo sucks ass.